Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Disability Advisory Board meeting. It's August 9th. We are starting a little late, so thanks for joining us, anyone that just jumped on to watch us. And first order of business is to approve the June 14th, 2023 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion? Okay, Cynthia, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. So if anyone noticed, there's only 3 of us tonight, and we do have met quorum because there's 5 members, and we do have a position for alternate. So sometimes we could have up to 6 people, but 2 members have resigned as of August 1st. So I just want to thank Lynn and Dr. Al Katera for their service for the last couple of years, for Lynn and Al for the last year. And, we will miss having them on the board. We appreciate everything they did. So thank you very much. With that being said, that means we have 2 open positions and 1 alternate position that is open for anyone that is interested. I know Michelle was looking for someone today, but didn't realize she didn't live in LMT.
I've been rallying.
You're trying to rally people. But one of the prerequisites is, have to be a Lower Makefield Township resident. So
she is a former resident.
Okay.
I didn't realize that. So, so I will keep rallying.
Yeah, she would have been a good,
she would.
Yeah, but anyone that is interested, we will post, I will have Katie post this on the website, and we'll have it on the television local channel. And then the good thing is we are going to be at a couple community events, so we could probably, at least have something. Maybe I'll print something up with our mission statement, just to hand out so people know what we're about, and let them know the process to submit a resume to the LMT manager, and then, take it from there. So, if everyone can just talk it up, and we'll get it out there, community day, and see if anyone is interested. But it would be two full members and 1 alternate. So we have an opportunity for 3 positions. So
I was going to say, I did make mention of it in the last meeting, although I think it was past 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that went long. I signed off at 10.
Okay. And I was going to suggest, I don't know if we've got if we look for somebody who might meet the criteria if someone's not neurotypical, or other categories, just get different perspectives as well.
Yeah.
So I will try. I'm going to continue to recruit as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have, if there's a parent out there that has a child that has some sort of disability, whether it's mental, physical, either, it'd be nice to have someone with that perspective. In the past, we've always had representation almost of every disability, whether it was vision, hearing. One point we had someone who could not speak. We've had people with physical limitations in wheelchairs. So it's always been a good mix. And so we hope to continue that, to bring, different ideas and important issues that maybe we're not thinking about. So, we're open to anyone. You don't have to have a disability. For myself, I have a nephew who is a quadriplegic. So, I have experience just through family, so could be somebody who works with people with disabilities, or could have just a family member or a friend. So you do not have to have a disability, but maybe just knowledge of it, or just have a passion for it, really. Yeah.
Lisa, just really quick, is there criteria in the bylaws that there has to be a certain percentage of a person with a disability? I mean, still we had to have 50-50.
Yeah, no,
you don't have that.
No.
And then I don't know who listens, but is it listed of one of my friends today? She's going to spread the word. She's actually a former SIL board member, but does not live in our township now. She used to live in Yardley. Is there sort of a list of what they would be doing, reviewing ADA plans, focusing on things
Well,
within the
yeah.
township.
No, I mean, they can just look at our website as far as our
Okay.
mission statement.
Okay.
But we don't have specific jobs, we all just kind of pitch in where we can. It's nice to have, if there is someone out there that, architectural type things with ADA accessibility, we'd be interested in that because we do look at plans, and with some of the building that's going on, it might be nice to have that person. So, maybe they don't have knowledge of someone close to them with a disability, but they have knowledge of the ADA law. So that would be helpful.
Okay.
But no one has to
Okay.
have a specific,
Criteria
criteria
or
or ability
background, like mine was a lot of historic commission, but also being a person with a disability and aware. So Dave's brought me up on a lot of the ADA law stuff, which is really good. So good. I'll keep
really
spreading.
Yeah, we'll probably continue Zoom, right? So, I mean, I think it reaches a lot of people. So, we have monthly meetings, but we do attend community events. So I think it is important. Obviously, if you can't physically make those community events, we understand that. So you don't have to, but it is nice to speak with the community and find out the needs of the community by maybe attending some of those events. So, but again, we've had people that could not attend, so we're open to accommodating. We're very accommodating.
I'll keep rallying. And I'm sorry I missed the 5K because I love that color. I love coming home like completely with color on me.
Yep. Okay. I just wanted to mention that the email is not working. So I've been working with Captain Brame, I think it is Brame, over at the LMT Police Department. He does some of the email computer responsibilities. So can't quite figure out why the email is not working. I've tried it from my computer. He's tried it from his. I've tried it from my work. So anyway, that's why I will reach out with my personal email for anyone that I know that we need to, but hopefully that'll get working at some point in the next week or so. And then I was not aware of, I had reached out to Katie at the township building because I asked her, how are people knowing like how to call in if they have a question for us? And she said, we were supposed to put it out in an agenda every month or every time we have a meeting. I said, I've been doing this now for almost 20 years. And I never realized that we should be posting the agenda on the website prior to the meeting. So I learned that today after 20 years of, being part of this.
That's interesting. I don't think we did that on the Historic Commission or Harb. I mean, maybe things have changed, but
I think
it's a long time.
It's changed because included on the agenda should be the call-in information.
Got it.
So it's the same call-in for every meeting, but if somebody went to our web page and they wanted to look for what's happening at this particular meeting, they could pull up the agenda, and then they would also have the call-in number to call and the meeting ID number. Again, it's all the same, so they could find it, but they wouldn't really know that looking at the website. I do have much difficulty finding things on our website, unfortunately, and I'm pretty savvy and I still have trouble. So on the next meeting, I will post it. So I'm going to make my agenda probably a little condensed for putting it out on the website. I make it a little more detailed for us, but and it will include the call-in information so people can find us. I mean, I think for the most part, most people just watch us and don't really necessarily need to call in, but they should have the opportunity, and I want them, want members of the community to call in and ask us things. So I did not know, learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So on to events. So as Michelle alluded to, I attended the 5K color fun run, and it was a blast. So I think last year Liz said, the Parks and Rec sponsors it. Liz, can't remember her last name, coordinated it, and she did a great job. I think we had 104 people last year, she said, and we had over 150 this year. So it was well attended. People from all ages, all abilities, attended. And I did send some information as far as how to run things a little bit smoother next year. We ran into a couple glitches that, she always does an after event meeting to see how we can improve something. Just some things with registration and, water and having wipes, because some of the kids were getting it in their eyes. The kids that wore their ski goggles are smart. People that had bandanas around their faces were smart. We're going through that, but we definitely need to have some paper towels or something so that, we can wipe away anything that's getting in their faces, especially if they're little, young ones. So that was it, but it's definitely a great event. It's going to be held next year. And so hopefully I'll be around. I definitely will be volunteering again. And, we'll continue to do that. And all money raised is for, ADA accessibility in the parks. They use it for, certain special things that they can do in the parks. There was one thing I noticed, and John, you might want to bring this up. The funny thing is about the water, like the water fountains weren't working down at Mackles. So I don't know why. It was like a trickle and we didn't really have a lot of water. But then what came to my mind was stand the can. And my daughter just got back from Europe and they said, like in Europe, they have water stations. Like there's no water bottles. Everywhere you walk, whether it's Rome or Paris, everyone has a bottle. And every couple blocks, there's a filling station, right? So there's no waste. So I was wondering because that was one of the comments, we didn't have enough water. So I'm thinking, why are we doing that? Why can we put filling stations to go along with this stand the can and, no waste, bring in, bring out? Are there plans to do that? Have they talked about that? I don't think I've heard that discussed in the Parks and Rec meetings and the environmental. So there should be filling stations everywhere.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday was actually our Parks and Rec review night. So we traveled to each of the assets, although we didn't go to Makefield, interestingly. So I don't know of a specific plan for water stations at Makefield. I do know that we are in the process of a study to review the layout and structure of Makefield for things like traffic flow, service, utility, utilization. That's something definitely that feedback I think would make a difference in terms of, because there's going to be a review of facilities because the bathrooms are older or some of the other elements need
it's just not Mackles though. It's at all of our parks. They should have a filling station in every park at this point.
So Memorial Park has a filling station, or at least I think they do. It's because I've gone there or I've gotten water there. But
does the pool and the swimming pool? Does the pool have
has a concession? So there's.
I don't think they started. So maybe I might just mention it to Monica. Well,
it ties in with the zero waste philosophy.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
That's a good idea. I mean, that's a good point. But back to, we didn't have enough. Did we have the bananas? I mean, that's usually a sponsorship.
Yeah.
So it was just quantity because we didn't project that we had more people.
Correct.
And they had good publicity this year, and the post publicity of photos. If anyone's listening, the Lower Makefield Insta and social media was fantastic. The pictures were great. So the more awareness is wonderful. So,
yeah. All right. So those were just the highlights from that day. So good job. The next event we will be attending is Community Day. So I did email Claire, who runs the Center for Independent Living, that we had as a guest speaker back in February. And we had discussed, Michelle reminded me, we had discussed that they would, want to join us. I totally forgot about that. And so I did reach out to Claire and she said that would be great. So they're going to just sit with us at the table. So they don't need a separate table, they're just going to join us. They can hand out, additional information that, we wouldn't have. And, that's great because they provide services. We don't provide services. We provide where you should go. So here, this would be a great partnership at the table. So, we have someone there that can discuss actual services that they can provide. So I think she's just going to probably be there from 12 to 5. So as far as we're concerned, we're going to just take shifts. So I think, I'll just go in, set up, and then whenever Cynthia gets there, and then whenever Michelle gets there, we'll and I'll probably come back to close it out. So we can work on the timing. If it's too long for anybody, we can shorten up the times. And then, and just think about what we want to give out. I mean, we always give out our normal, information about us, but, information maybe about handicap parking, the proper way to do it, what to do if you're meeting for the first time someone in a wheelchair, what, kind of etiquette, or a deaf person, how you can interact. So we do have some information and some brochures. So I'll just make sure we have enough.
One thing, and maybe I can try to pull info and we can print it off, is I just saw that Governor Shapiro signed the bill for the increase on the aging and people with disabilities cap for property taxes.
Oh, okay.
So
Maybe
that's
you can print
something
out
that
some
we
flyers.
can maybe raise awareness for people in the community. It would also overlay with the aging population. But it was finally increased just last week, I believe. So,
Okay.
John, you might know better.
I did see that as well, and I'm probably guessing that Representative Warren's office might have brochures on that.
Oh, good idea.
And they'll
Maybe we
be
could just
there
put
as well. But yes, we get a few of those.
Yeah, that's
Take
what I'm
them to the
thinking.
table. Do you need a contact there, or?
I've talked to one of.
They're right in Floral Vale, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I ride my bike over there, so maybe I can just
Pop in.
Over.
I'll ride over and get some brochures.
They're very helpful. I mean, we could even call in advance and get them in an envelope, but actually his office was one that suggested that I apply for something. So that might be a good awareness. There's a lot of aging people in our community, in addition to the disability, that don't know that there's opportunities on the farmstead. And they finally just capped it. I think it's higher. It needed to be done a couple years ago. So the governor finally just signed that bill.
Well, maybe you want me to call over there, see if they have any brochures. Otherwise, we might have to print it off of a website if they don't have them printed up yet, if it's that new.
I don't know. What do you think? I could just try to reach out tomorrow and mention we just want to put a couple handouts on our table. Yeah. And then either we'll swing by and pick them up, or he can pop them in the mail and we'll have them for end of the month.
Yeah, right. We have time. So,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead. That'd be great if you can give them a call and find out. If it's too new and we just have to print something off of, the internet, that's fine too. I can print off, some pages off the internet for that. Thank you. Yeah. And can you just tell me again, what's the bill that was passed, or what is it called specifically?
Do you know No, I don't know the number.
No,
Becky actually told me it was increased.
Like, what's it called if I was referencing it in meeting minutes?
They'll know. It's it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm so sorry. I know we're live.
Looking forward to it. You got me going on.
I know.
It's a property tax reduction for people over X date, age, and persons with disabilities. I can pull the exact lingo tomorrow.
Okay, so that's good though. That's, for me to write just
but the bill, I knew that it was in the works. It finally got signed last week.
Okay, just a bill passed on the property tax reduction for aging and persons with disabilities. That's funny.
And of course, we know Lower Makefield has a high population of the aging community. As long as you don't exceed that cap. I mean, I don't know what the criteria are, but from a disability perspective, if you're on a fixed income and you're only getting an SSDI, you definitely could possibly meet the reduction.
Yeah, it's probably under the 2,000 limit, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
And I just pulled it up, and I guess the maximum rebate for seniors is from $650 to $1,000, and increase the income cap for renters and homeowners
Right.
$45,000 a year and ties it out to cost of living. So the recent Social Security increase won't throw you out of the compliance with getting the rebate.
Yeah. Okay.
It adds up. I mean, then if
Yeah.
you apply,
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll have that, like you said, in a brochure of some
Yeah.
sort that would
Okay.
lay all that out. Okay. All right. Great. It's good to know. All right. So we'll work on, just things to hand out, make sure I bring all that with me. So, and then, we did have on June 28th, the Makefield study group meeting that I did attend. I think we made some progress as far as the design everyone seemed to like, but it's very interdependent on finding additional fields. So it might be a process of trying to do it in stages. And so I'm just, I'm there to support, make sure they're keeping in mind the accessibility part of it. And but they definitely have some more work. So it's not complete yet. So I know we're gonna meet again. I just don't know when. So, and other projects that are coming up, I did reach out to Monica at Parks and Rec. And the only thing they're really going to start on this year is the 5 Mile Woods project, because they did receive the grant, as we had mentioned in earlier meeting minutes and meetings, that they received the grant, and I guess we have to match that grant. So there is money to start for a pathway that will be accessible. And she did say they will be looking for volunteers in the fall. So I don't know what.
We toured that last night.
Okay.
So it's a combined, there'll be a portion of handicap accessible parking in addition to the path. And there's already was an Eagle Scout project to clear out sections to prepare it and to redo like a wooden fencing, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
The Scout's name, but he was actually at the pool as a lifeguard when we were touring the pool later, so we had a chance to thank him.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that will be coming. There will be a need for volunteers, so those who are interested in volunteering, we will definitely word out on that as well.
No, it's great that that's moving along. I think that'd be great to have.
Yeah.
And then I know there's no updates for any of the other projects that we were kind of following. So we're just going to have to continue to follow them along. And as Monica, starts the process on them, we will definitely help out. Go ahead. Yeah, you just toured all these. So yeah.
Yeah. So last night we toured the all-inclusive playground. Mm-hmm. And one of the unique features of the all-inclusive playground is the very special padding and surface that is at the playground. Unfortunately, that's past its useful lifespan. And the challenge is those are very expensive to build. They're very unique and a great asset to the community. I mean, people love that. Everything else associated with the all-inclusive playground is in relatively good shape. There's only one little thing that needs to get painted. However, there was discussion about funding for things like that. And one of the challenges that we face is there's funding for building something that's accessible, but there isn't. We weren't always sure that there was grants for repair of something. And I'm wondering if anybody, and Supervisor Blunt asked me to look into this, if there's anything that you guys might know of that would help us in terms of restoration, accessible restoration, so that could help with the funding of that all-inclusive playground, which is extraordinarily popular. And I know, many folks use it all the time. The one thing that that was also a discussion last night around that, because I kind of took notes on that, was if you notice there is different cutout areas with different colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there was a discussion as to whether, and again, it's probably a function of fading, but where colorblind people wouldn't be able to recognize the differences between the colors. And that's interesting, but more importantly, it might save the township a significant amount of money not to have that same color cutout schema, because there might be fewer cutout sections which would reduce the sort of seams that they have to deal with, and potentially, have another option that might be a little less money, that is a single color, but is still padded. It might have a speckled or a single color as its base, as opposed to what it is now. That's a design question, but I wanted to bring that to your attention in hopes that, if we choose something that has fewer cutouts, which is kind of the challenge because we had seam issues, that might make it last longer for the next version of this.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be one. Yeah, no, anything with a crack, we all know, driveways, whatever, with the weather, it's going to contract and, so I think that's absolutely, we have to go to one pour, but I would say that we did this 10 years ago, or, so things might have changed. Maybe they can just do a color on top. I don't know. Maybe there's different ways you can put the sign on rather than doing separate pieces. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I would think that it's going to be really tough to get a grant to do maintenance. To me, this would be a maintenance issue, and I know I remember listening to the Park and Rec. They were talking about another playground going in, adding playgrounds, whether it's we're doing a better playground down at Makefield, we're doing a playground for a pocket park, we're expanding the playground at Veterans Park. So my question then to you is, if we're not putting away for maintenance for this playground, why are we expanding all these other playgrounds, and who's going to maintain them in 10 years when they go? So we can't keep building these things and then not maintaining them. So
I agree with you, and it's a very good policy question to a supervisor like me. First element of this is years ago, I wanted to create a fund for vehicles and equipment for public works and Parks and Rec and stuff, because at that time we had a situation where the fleet was really old and we were replacing, and we still are replacing, like some of the stuff that we're putting into salvage just doesn't get any bids, like when we put it into salvage or something, because it's way past its useful life. And I tried to get where we set aside a certain amount of the value of the asset into a fund, so that when the time comes for maintenance, the funds are already there, and that you can and say, okay, well, we've reserved this amount for maintenance. This is the plan. And that should work, for most cases. There will be times, obviously, you may have a significant event, something goes out of service sooner or stays longer. And unfortunately, I don't think we've done, and this is, and I say we, because I've been on a board a while, I've tried to push for these things. It's been a long-term issue for the township in general. Yeah. And that's definitely one, if you want to call into public comment and bust my chops on, feel free to do so. But I agree with you, and that is something we need to plan for better. I'm very hopeful, though, that we will get better at that. And
I mean, it just goes for, again, it's building all these new things and not setting aside a reserve, kind of a reserve accounting. You have to put in reserves.
Yeah.
And we had that for the Parks and Rec vehicles and stuff, and then that kind of didn't make it to continue in process. So
but it's the same for bike paths, right? Mm-hmm. So we continually put in new bike paths,
but we don't have money for the repairs,
for the repair of the existing bike paths. There's I could write up on Township Line Road, there's a gap of at least 8 inches, an 8-inch gap.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a liability issue.
I know.
Because my girlfriend just wrecked her leg down on a new curb in Yardley. So I kindly...
Borough, right? Not the township.
No, it wasn't the township. I said,
okay. Well, then that doesn't count.
Go take a picture of that brand new curb, girlfriend. Because that's definitely a concern.
Yeah. So I guess if I need to come and speak at a meeting, but I understand if we don't have the money, but we're finding the money to put in new things. but we need to make sure we set aside for existing. So we're back to, let's bring it back to the inclusive playground, what do we do? That has to be replaced. Otherwise, it's going to end up being yellow taped and no one's going to be allowed on it because there's going to be big holes in it and it's going to be dangerous. We don't want to get to that point. So I don't think we can fund, we can look for grants. I mean, surely I can take a peek, but I think it's going to be really tough for, existing. But if that doesn't happen, then where you can't fundraise 80 to 90,000, whatever it's going to be. I mean, that would just take years. So
a little more than that.
A little more than that, maybe for the just this solid pour. I don't know. Maybe it'd be less. I don't. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. So.
And I would also suggest that given the recent events in Maple Vale, policy and timing of certain things the township deals with necessarily is going to be delayed as we deal with stormwater issues to try to mitigate the circumstances that we have. And I know that's not something people want to hear, but that's important for safety. And we will be dealing with stormwater issues, I think, aggressively, not just to resolve issues around Maple Vale, but in other parts of Lower Makefield, because of the sort of ferocity of that storm and what it was able to do. I think it hopefully has caused people to really rethink some stuff.
Yeah. And so what about, I know for the Makefield project, there was going to be another playground over on the new side. I think there was something slated for that. So again, where is that money coming from? Does it have to be used for, again, a new build something? Can we use that money for?
Yeah, typically what we've been doing is getting grants from the state or even as part of the Rescue Act for new builds on stuff, or there were some places where we could use it infrastructure wise as well. I'm not sure about the Parks and Rec element of it. That is something we should probably see if there's other funds that we haven't possibly found a use for. Two things. One is I know many people will like to speak that there's resources are limited and there's trade-offs, and yes, that is always the case. However, Lower Makefield is one of the most affluent communities in Bucks County, and has very little debt and had little debt before actually the sewer sale. So had he not doing the sewer sale, we'd have been debt-free in 15 years. And we're still going to be debt-free in 15 years, but it's just going to be a lower debt service during that time. But so yeah, the resources can be found for projects and planned out appropriately. And I think it's just a function of working through that.
But what's the chances that the money that was going to be, again, building a new playground only 100 yards from an existing playground that's needs maintenance, building a new playground over on that north side, why would we want to build that before we maintain the old one? Because the monies can't be
right.
But here we go again, building something that we can't maintain.
And I'm not sure that when is that scheduled for?
I'll ask Monica on that. But yeah, I mean, we're just talking.
It doesn't sound efficient.
We're just talking out loud. But now that we're talking, it's not making sense.
And it also looks at I mean, if I was on the other side of writing a grant, I'd be like, why are we giving a grant to somebody who's got another playground 100 yards away? You know what I mean? Like, we're throwing good money after.
Yeah, and it's important to note that some of our projects that are grants that we got a while ago, we're still working on to complete projects. So some of the stuff you see in Memorial Park as it relates to the tennis courts and pickleball courts. There's certainly some issues there, but there's still additional elements of that build out that were part of that grant that have been worked on for many years. And we're talking about, in some cases, 5+ years from when the grant was received or applied for to when it's being actually started on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just all good questions, but I think we're getting to the point where we have to start asking, we can't go fundraising and then people seeing, I mean, they wouldn't understand that there's grant money being used for something new, but I mean, that's a tough sell for, fundraising. Okay. Well, we didn't solve any problems there, but
just last thing, I mean, because I think out of the box, and it's one of my old strengths is development and fundraising, but maybe there's an opportunity, unless we're not allowed to, where you could look at sponsorships to help some of these, and then they could put their logos somewhere.
like around the playground.
I don't know. I don't know anything about bureaucratic development fundraising, but Cynthia's smiling because I'm like, you can only get so much blood from a rock, and a lot of those places are merging to begin with. So,
well, speaking of sponsorships and township events and assets and rocks, Kim Rock, actually, the Kim Rock Group sponsored a movie night where we had I think close to 500 folks. So the township can and does attract sponsors for events or for those sorts of things. Would a large company like to have their logo emblazoned on the pad of an all-inclusive playground? It seems like, if Wawa, you're listening, or any other major.
That's what I'm thinking. Wawa, or somebody that ties in with the path, like DeLuca, are they still around, like our neighborhood? Yep. But something that kind of ties in with builders, playgrounds, fun, path. I can help think out of the box on that one, but that would be great, John. So,
and again, Wawa, if you're listening,
Wawa,
or any other major Philadelphia Metro or New York Metro based brand, don't hesitate.
Chase Bank.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, saying a little Chase prayer to the development folks on that one.
All right, so we'll just keep asking some questions, and I'll talk with Monica, and we'll keep our eye on Veterans Park, the pool bathrooms, the community center, potential new handicap door and parking situation there. So, but nothing new, on those. The next is building plan reviews. Do we have any updates? I know, Michelle, you'd reached out to Jim.
No, I put myself on mute. No, I have not received any follow-up from Jim, but based on, I haven't seen anything new.
They're just moving along.
It tends to get a little quiet in the summertime, but moving along.
Yeah, I don't think there's any new besides the Wegmans Cricket Preserve going on. So, and a lot of housing development, any land that can have a house on it, there'll be a house. Okay, any new business? Cynthia, do you have anything? All right. So so we're all going to get together. We're going to be at Community Day on August 26th. So that's fine. We probably don't need to meet in September. Probably don't have anything going on. So if we want to meet in October 11th. So we'll cancel the September.
I'm away, but I can zoom in. I'm out of town that week.
Okay. I mean, if you're able to do that, that's great.
I am. Yeah. So we have a quorum and we can keep moving. Hopefully we'll have some seats filled by then.
Okay. Yeah. We give John, you have 2 months to find some more members for us. October 11th. Okay. So we'll set it for October 11th. And if anyone cannot make it, just let us know, because we won't have a quorum. So we'll have to cancel it. Okay. But other than that, do I have a motion to adjourn? so John can finally get up and walk around. All right, Michelle, and I'll second. And all in favor? Aye. Have a great rest of your
Aye.
night, and I'll see everybody at LMT Community Day.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye,
take care.
Cynthia. Bye,
Bye.
John. Have a good night. I'll call